Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening to all the participants of the Green Entrepreneurship course. My name is Nathalie Prado, and I work for Eco Enterprises Fund, an impact investing fund that provides growth capital to small and medium enterprises across Latin America. Today, I will present the lesson of how to create a unique value proposition for your business. Through a list of key points, and using ecotourism as a base for a case of study, I will discuss with you environmental, social, and community-related values, as well as key financial aspects that can differentiate a business from its competitors and create a unique value proposition. The first key point that I like to discuss is location. For most ecotourism companies, location is an important key aspect. Either at the beach, mountains, or deep inside of the Peruvian Amazon, a few miles can truly make the difference between failure or success. Aspects such as accessibility, environmental conservation, high-quality adventure, and nearby attractions are key sales drivers. The example that I've been using today is a company located at the Peruvian Amazon. This company owns 3 lodges that since their inception have stood out among its competitors. All the lodges are located within a national reserve where the wildlife is abundant, including the very special and colorful scarlet macaw, whose social interaction at a famous clay lake can only be seen from some specific spots which happen to be very close to the lodges. By offering visitors the opportunity to enjoy a pristine landscaping while combining adventure with scientific research and learning, the company has managed to position its lodges as one of the must-see attractions in the Amazon. The second point that I like to discuss today is adaptability. With many tourism projects out there, making the right changes at the right time is key to adapt the business to the market realities. Either by something external such as climate change or a natural disaster, or internal such as the increasing demand, businesses need to be resilient. Using the same company as an example, some years ago, visitors that were interested in visiting one of the lodges that offers the scientific learning experience demanded as well more comfortable and luxury facilities. This specific lodge, which opened 20 plus years ago, was born with the objective to welcome researchers and nature passion visitors all the time. However, over time, the company realized that more families, honeymooners, and couples were also booking this lodge as part of their stay in the Peruvian Amazon. For this reason, nearly 5 years ago, the lodge went through an important upgrade to offer visitors what the market was demanding. One example of the upgrade process was to convert share rooms with shared bathrooms into smaller but more comfy rooms with their own private bathrooms. This minor change allowed the company to ratchet up prices while increasing margins by keeping steady costs. It was not easy though. It required intense logistics and planning in order to preserve the ecosystem and to be able to adapt the design to the surrounding natural landscaping, while at the same time using high-quality materials that could last many years with minimum maintenance. Those were challenging times for the company, no doubt, which by studying and listening the market as well as planning properly was able to successfully execute an expansion plan in a very short period of time. The third key point that I like to discuss with you of how to create a value proposition for your business is having the right partnership. A value proposition can be unique by adding the right partners to the stakeholder value chain. Either a local NGO that teaches visitors or community members about conservation, waste management, social and financial inclusion, or a direct partnerships with a local community, business should be able to differentiate their service or product from competitors. Using the same example, over 20 years ago, this company in the Peruvian Amazon partnered with the local community and opened a lodge in their community land, which happened to have many natural attractions nearby. In exchange, the community is part of a profit-sharing program in which every year its members receive 50% of the lodge gains. For over 2 decades, the community members have not only grown their income, but also have learned about business, finance, marketing, and other important aspects needed to run a successful business. Moreover, this partnership allowed the community to build and manage their own eco-lodge some years ago, demonstrating that the right partner is definitely a key differentiator in terms of conservation, job generation, and the overall success for all the parties involved. The fourth key point, which is one of the most important ones, is cash. As an old saying states, cash is king, and so it is for the tourism sector. Ecotourism companies have a significant fluctuation in cash depending on the season, and managing this is definitely a challenge. Since off-season can easily push a business out of the market, when creating a value proposition for an ecotourism business, a strategy to face low season is a must. Aspects such as an accurate financial planning, healthy cash flow, and cash reserves are only some of the good practices that need to be taken in consideration. Other important aspects should include the designing of multitasking job positions that can perform all year round, keeping minimum costs while prioritizing maintenance, keeping active key staff such as marketing and sales, keeping debt levels low and managing foreign currency effectively also provide a caution for ecotourism companies to weather dips in business. Using the same example, this company has been able to develop and execute a financial planning that allowed them to thrive during high season while forecasting for low season. By keeping 2 of the 3 eco-lodges open and available for visitors, while the other one is undergoing maintenance, the company is able to serve the market with promotions during low season. One last key point, but not the less important, of how to create a value proposition for your business is finding the right marketing channel. Companies need to be able to rapidly adapt to the fluidity of the sectors in terms of competition, globalization, and the always changing consumer interests and trends. Businesses must develop a solid source of customers regardless of what they offer, whether through online sales, word of mouth, online platforms such as Expedia or TripAdvisor in the case of ecotourism. Companies must find their own marketing channel. Using the same example, this company was able to secure all year-round visitors by including its value proposition in the National Geographic Tour package. These 5 points that I discussed with you today are only a few examples of how a company can stand out among its competitors while offering a value proposition that supports conservation, social, and financial inclusion. many thanks for your attention, and I wish you all a very successful course and learning.